Hello everyone, Alistair Gold here. I'm back from a couple of sunny days in Kefalonia, and yes, Tottenham did make a signing while I was on holiday, as you may have noticed. Yves Bissouma, of course, signed up finally. To be honest, as I said in the last video, I knew it was coming, as in I knew it was likely to be announced on one of my days off. So yeah, back to work for the last couple of days. So getting to the bottom of loads of things that we'll talk about in this video. So let's start with Bissouma. Obviously, we know it's a deal until 2026. What I would say is most Spurs deals pretty much always, barring the odd few, have an option for a further year. Don't know 100% if this one does, but like I say, most of their deals do. The fee, sounds like we're looking at over 30 million and all once if all the add-ons are triggered. I think you're probably looking at far less than that in the basic, more in the 20s, which of course is a very good deal for a player of his quality. And let's be honest, if he triggers all the add-ons that bring the extra money, it means he's probably played very well and done exactly what Spurs needed him to, so it all works out for everyone. What I think is a key thing about the Bissouma signing is they're not signing a kid. They're not signing someone with potential. They are signing a player who is approaching his prime very soon. He'll be 26, not too long. He is, probably fair to say, one of the best midfielders outside the traditional top six. He's going to be absolutely superb for Tottenham from everything I'm hearing. And I think the key thing about this deal is this is something that Conte has been trying to impress on the squad and the club, on everything, that he just wants to drill out of Tottenham this mentality that there's a set starting 11. That's not how big clubs think. Big clubs, they think there's a squad full of players, all of equal abilities, or at least similar abilities, all pushing each other to try and be in that team. Anyone's ready to step in at a moment's notice, and it doesn't affect the quality of the team or the tactical options that Conte has at his disposal. I mentioned this before, didn't I, about the fact that last season he looked at that bench on most occasions and was like, yeah, okay, I'm not really going to be able to change this game too much from that. And that's what he wants to get rid of. Tottenham need to start thinking about a big club, and that's what this deal does represent, because even taking Harry Winks out of the, factoring him in because we think very likely to leave for some regular football. No, Everton are very interested among other clubs, but that still leaves you Bissouma, Rodrigo Bentancur, Pierre-Emile Hoiberg, who I'm told Spurs have no plans to sell this summer, and of course young Oliver Skipp, who I have spoken plenty about. So that is a hell of a four. A quartet in that midfield, when, let's be honest, on the whole it's going to be a two most of the time, and even I think if it is a three in midfield, it's unlikely to be three from that four. I think it'll be another attacking midfield, and we'll talk about that. And sadly, someone who probably isn't going to be involved in that discussion at the moment, it doesn't look like anyway. But also Pape Matar Sarr has to come in. Conte has to look at him this summer and work out what happens with him next. So I'd say in that central midfield, incredible options now. You think about how good Bentancur and Hoiberg were in some of those big games as this season kind of hit the business end. You could add Bissouma's terrific quality to that as well. And Oliver Skipp, obviously, is an incredible young talent who everyone has high hopes for. That's a hell of a quartet. And that is exactly what I'm saying. And what Conte is saying, it's about an incredible squad, not just a starting 11 you can be pleased about. And that's really cool. What I did today, I spoke to Richie Mills, who is the Brighton reporter for Sussex Live. He covers Brighton week in, week out. He's watched Bissouma every single week, home and away, for the recent seasons. So I asked him a couple of questions about what we can expect from Bissouma, because obviously, probably like me, most of you have seen him in kind of glimpses of him, little matches you've seen him play, especially against Spurs. But what is he like on a consistent week in, week out basis? So I asked him kind of, first off, what can we expect? And he said, Spurs fans can expect one of the best ball winners in the game. a marauding and athletic midfielder who can go box to box, and he is capable of the odd wonder goal. He's predominantly right-footed, favours shorter passes over long ones, and is very competent at driving out from the back to kickstart an attack. His dribbling and close ball controls come on leaps and bounds too. When he joined Brighton in 2018, he showed flashes of brilliance, but he was inconsistent. Now he rarely has a bad game. So, of course, I asked him what are his weaknesses as well. He said, because of the defensive part of his game is so good, some of his deficiencies are not such a big issue. If he could iron those out, he will be world class. His shot success is pretty low, his long-range passing could be worked on, and he does tend to pick up too many yellow cards. He picked up 10 bookings over the course of last season, meaning he missed 3 matches overall. Graham Potter said that's one part of his game Brighton want to work on, but it could be something on a double-edged sword because he obviously also has that. It gives him that aggression in the tackle, that drive, and that's exactly one of the key elements of his game. And I suppose it's very similar, I guess, with Spurs to Christian Romero, that front foot defending style. So, yeah, but I guess if he does miss matches, this is where the quality and the strength and depth comes in. I asked him fitness-wise, what's he like? Because obviously with Spurs and Conte, there's going to be this huge fitness level required, and Conte will work him absolutely ridiculously over the summer. To which Richie said, fitness-wise, Bissouma proved to be one of Brighton's fittest players. It was very rare to see him out on his feet, and often he was the figure who would spearhead his side's efforts to get them back into a game or take it to the opposition. Some of his games over the past 2 seasons have been phenomenal. So this is all very high praise and very exciting. So I asked him also, how does he work with others, fellow teammates? Is he popular in the dressing room? Stuff like that. To which he said, towards the back end of last season, he formed a great partnership with his Brighton teammate Moses Caicedo. They were exceptional in the 1-0 win over Tottenham last year, with the pair acting as a sort of double act. Sorry, last season, not last year. When one got forward, the other covered, and vice versa. Bissouma was a fan favourite with the Seagulls, and his teammates love him. Brighton's kitman Alex Burrows had this to say about him in 2020. The lads always pop in and ask for bits and pieces too. They're a great group. I have to say that Yves Bissouma is one of the funniest people I've met. He'll be in the office just chatting to someone in French on FaceTime, then he'll switch it to me and back again. He's a great laugh. So that's what you want. You need good, you need characters. You need people that are going to gel with the other team, because that's other teammates. Because that's the interesting thing for Bissouma now is he probably became a bit of a bigger fish in the Brighton pond, and now he'll be coming to Tottenham where, there's some big star players in that squad, and players that he's going to really have to fight for his spot in the team. And how he reacts and how he develops and how he deals with all that is going to be crucial. Obviously, we've got his own comment since he made the move. He said, I'm very happy to be here, happy to be a Spurs player, and hopefully we're going to have a good season. I'm going to give everything to try to win every game to stay at the top, but as everyone knows, the Premier League is not easy. We're going to have to work really hard to keep the ambition high. We have a good group and a great coach. Everyone knows him. I know I can pass this step with him. I know he will help me more to be what I want to be and try to help the team as well. I'm very happy to play with him. It's my dream to play Champions League. I remember when I was younger, I watched the Champions League every day. I can't believe I'm going to play Champions League with Spurs. I'm so happy. I just want to say thank you to my mum, my dad, and my agent here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to Spurs as well. And just a little bit on his background and where he came from. He said, I was born in the Ivory Coast in my dad's village. When I was young, football was my life. I wanted to play football every day, every moment. If I don't play football, I'm not happy. To be a professional footballer, to be at Spurs, a big club, when I remember 11, 12 years ago, it gives me some sensations. My mum, my dad, they helped me a lot. It was really hard. In Africa, we don't have the opportunities like here. For example, when I was younger, my dad, my mum, they just work to help us. But if you want to play football, they don't have the money to buy a ball or shoes. We just played on the street with friends, no shoes. But we enjoyed this moment. I was young, my friends as well. It's one part of life. I was happy. I've come so far, from Isia to Spurs, Champions League music. Imagine. The emotion is too much. So, of course, saying all the right things, and I do think he is going to be a huge player for Spurs.